full half hour. Hi, everybody. I'm Cindy Johnson. If I haven't met you before, we are glad you are here. We are going to talk to you about Instagram and Facebook stories. So a lot of people aren't familiar with them or how to use them and how to maximize them for the business. And we have two people that are going to talk to you. And if we have time, a third person might pop in with some tips, but we want to give these two as much time as they need. If you have questions as they're sharing, put them in the chat and we'll sort of look over them and then sort of group them together and instead of interrupting while they're sharing. So we have Sarah Kimball, who is a consultant in the business about 2.5 years or 2 years, right? And she's done amazing. She has over $75,000 in career sales and she's doing great. She's not typically on here, so I felt like a little introduction was necessary. And I just wanted to highlight that. And Teresa is also on our team and she has been in the business. How long have you been in the business, Teresa?
It'll be 5 years in August.
Okay, so 5 years, and she piped up and said she uses Facebook stories or Instagram. Well, you'll hear their stories and what they do and what they don't do, and some tips and ideas to use them to generate business and to start using that social platform that so many do successfully. So I'm going to be quiet, and Sarah, I'm going to let you tell a little bit more about yourself and share and do screen share or do whatever you need.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody. I am Sarah Kimball. I'm from the Cape. I've been with Pampered Chef for just about 2.5 years, and I'm here to talk about Instagram and social media stories. I have some statistics, but before I get into that, I use stories all the time for personal and my business social media accounts. And for me, and I think a lot of people will agree, it's the easiest way to consistently interact with your followers. Let's use followers as the word because we probably don't have a better word right now, to interact with your followers, because you can give them up-to-date, day-to-day little snippets of what's going on, but you at the same time can give them an in-depth one-sided conversation of something that's happening, something that you are trying to promote. And I've had a lot of success with growing social media through stories. Now, let me give you some statistics before I show you how to make a story. But I wrote them down because I can't memorize them. I'm just not a god that way. So 54% of social browsers use social media to research products. So here in Pampered Chef, we are the people that providing the information about the products. If that's on stories, if that's on reels, I use stories way more than I use reels, but we can get to that in a moment. 1% more, 55% of consumers learn about new brands on social media. And then 68% of consumers agree that social media enables them to interact with brands and companies. And now, again, when we're using the word interact, it's not the way that we're going to be interacting in the Q&A. It's not the way that we interact at live parties, but it's them getting to know you as an individual, and you are your brand. And interaction is almost can be replaced with the phrase connection. Like they like to connect with you and like see what you're doing. It making sense so far? You're liking what I'm saying? Okay, if you don't like it, just
we're all muted, but yes.
Message me on the back end, and I don't need the negativity now. Okay, so I'm going to show you stories, but there's a few different ways to engage with your social media followers, and those I'm going to give you 4 right now: Instagram stories or Facebook stories, posts, live videos, pre-recorded videos, whether that's a reel, a TikTok, we won't get into that, reel, or just something that you make on the side and you're just gonna post at your leisure. 4 different ways, the four big big boys or ladies, whatever. So let me show you how to create an Facebook story, and then I'll show you what I do, which is I linked my Facebook with my Instagram. So all my Instagram stories are automatically pushed to my Facebook because I don't really have time to make content for all these different platforms. You can, I'm giving you permission, and you should give yourself permission, and everybody else will give you permission. Recycle your content. Like, you can continue to use it over across all these different platforms. That's a big pro tip. Your content from 3 weeks ago is still very relevant now. You can just put more paint on it, whatever. Okay. Now I'm gonna share my screen. I am on my mom's computer because mine is going through something. Can you share my screen? It should say Instagram top tips now.
Yes, we see
Okay.
that.
Okay. So this first video I'm going to show you is how to make a Facebook story. And I'll walk you through. Okay. So I go into the Facebook app. This is my profile. And so then let me rewind it. I thought this would be the best way to show you. So go to your personal Facebook profile. This is mine. And then click here, add to story. And that will be the best way to add to, that's where you'll start. That's your jumping off point. And then you'll come to this fun and questionably overwhelming screen for some of you. And you can here select, this is my camera roll. I'm not going to show you anything else on my camera roll because it's mostly just photos of me in bathing suits. Let's be honest here. And you can add text over your videos. You can just add texts, like you can just click the text here and just have a Instagram story that is all words. You can add music over your videos. So this is where you'll start off. And now this is my pro tip. Just do it. Go in there, make a mistake. People like when you make mistakes. People like when you mess up. You guys can follow me on Instagram, on my personal Instagram or my business Instagram. And I am making lives and I'm sitting up there like, okay, guys, this is what I'm doing. I'm spitting, I'm drooling. It's a disaster. Like, I'm stumbling over my words, but people like to see the authentic you. People are going to say this about live videos on Facebook as well. Just being really authentic is what's going to be important. So what you're going to do if you want to take a new video, I'll get back to this. If you want to take a new video, you can hit this button, this camera button. You can make a video of yourself. If I'm going to stop there. If you feel like this is overwhelming, just start making stories and start messing up. If you feel like you have a good grip on it, you then can insert these fun creative apps that are like editing tools, things, adding emojis, adding what's when you, like fading in and out. You can add all the fun editing stuff if starting here with the creative apps. Okay.
I have a quick question. I'm going to
Yes,
interrupt
ma'am.
you real quick.
No.
So when you click this to start a story, you see some of your photos in camera roll and you see these little text, music, creative apps. Do you click text and drag it to the picture you want? Are you going to click the picture and then you're working in it? I don't understand
Yeah, so
how the
you'll
fun
click the
stuff hits the
picture.
picture.
You'll click the picture and then you'll be working in it.
All right.
Yeah. Yep.
And then how do you say, is there an obvious button of, yes, I like this, post it?
Yeah, it'll be,
Okay.
I think on Facebook, it's the bottom right corner.
Okay, thank you.
It'll be like a little flying paper emoji or something like that. Like a paper airplane. Okay, yeah, you got it. Now I'm gonna show you, this might be a little bit more of an advanced step, but for anybody who has Instagram and Facebook and want to marry the two, so recycling content is easy peasy. I'm going to show you how to do that. I will figure out a way to get these to you, whether that's in the this is in Table Setters, correct? I can upload these videos, and
Yes.
I can also make a more in-depth video on how to do the story full out, so you guys can follow along, if that's going to be helpful. Now this is marrying the two. It took me a minute to find my thing, but so what I did, let me rewind it. So I went to my profile, personal Instagram profile, and then in the top right hand corner there is a little ellipses, and that will drop down and give you options. I selected settings. I think it's the first one. Then I went to account. So now I'm here in account, and then I made a mistake, so we're just going to play through this. I went to personal information first. That's not where you go. Then I went to sharing to other apps, which is right down here. And then from there, you can select your Facebook. Here, I'll pause it over there. You can select your Facebook. If you have Twitter, if you have any of these other international apps, you can use those. But I only use Facebook. I think a lot of our target market is mostly on Facebook or maybe Twitter. But from there, you'll just put your Facebook username and password in there. Good thing is Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same people, same owner. Anyways, tips and tricks on how to create content that is going to be engaging for your audience. This is my last point. If you think I'm talking too much, I totally get it.
No, you're not at all.
Okay. Again, this is going to be just pounded down your throat. Like consistently, people will tell you this. Creating original content, whether that's you in the kitchen, you outside, you on the beach, you doing something that is who you are. Including on-screen text and closed captionings. I will make a step-by-step for that for you. But again, that's the same idea as what I showed you on the Facebook video. Avoid any watermarks. I don't know how much this really plays into anything, but a lot of people say avoiding watermarks are important. I wanted to toss that in there in case you felt you folks were doing this already. I don't use TikTok, so it's never been a problem for me. Drive traffic by encouraging viewers to head to the link in your bio. This is great because when you're promoting something like a party that you're doing, or if we have like an event that we're throwing, like a sale or recruiting, really directing them to the link in the bio is going to manipulate the statistics on Instagram, and your click rates will go up, and all of that's really important, but that's like a 4-hour class. Just encouraging people to really engage with your platform. So clicking, etc. Okay, hop on trends fast. This is specific to Reels, I would say, which is, some people might be familiar, but it's like the 6 to 15 second videos that have sounds behind them. Jumping on those fast is always a plus and an easy way to gain and reach new people that you might not have been able to reach from just a normal video. And then again, this is on the Reel side, sharing Reels to your feed. That's an extra button in Instagram, and I think on Facebook, you have to select share your Reels to your feed. I want to figure out a way to show you that. I don't know if I have a reel made I can post to show you, but I will try to find something to show you that. But
Sarah, I have a question, and I don't know, I think it might be relevant right now to what you're saying. So sometimes I see people do a whole recipe on their story. is that a reel, or are they just doing it step by step on there?
It is probably a reel. I'm wondering where you're seeing it, or is it
I
like
just can't ever figure out how they keep going. Like they'll just be cooking and then
it
they keep,
cuts?
it makes, it's little segments on there.
That's a reel. That's a reel.
Okay, so they're adding a reel. So, okay, that makes so much more sense to me now.
I will. Okay, I have never. My mom's saying you can do it in Canva. I have not done it in Canva. I'll get a video, like a YouTube video on how to create a reel, for you guys, because I do think that that's if you want to oh my gosh, I'm going way over. If you want to
You're good.
move towards creating reels, it's really helpful to have a step by step. Anyways, that is my Instagram pro tips. I do want to give our lovely friend a few minutes, and I'll get some documents around out to table setters.
That would be great. No, I think this is a great overview. And I do know Instagram, you can always, I love you offering to do a lot of this. There's also, I want to encourage people, there's a thing called Google, and you can search and learn this yourself. I'm sure you can. And I just don't want to, we want to work really smart. I love you offering, and I don't think I won't tap in and go, hey, Sarah, remember you said you'd teach this? Because I have some questions, but it's just good to know who's doing this, so we know on the team who we can message and tap into. And I did only give her 10 minutes, as she said one of the things would have been 4 hours. So it's just a highlight to start our brains thinking. So I so appreciate your time.
Of course. Thank you.
Teresa, I'm going to give you the floor and let you share, because you've been using these as well, and you can share how you're using them.
Okay. So, hey guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to talk for a few minutes. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. But I'm a simple kind of girl. So no offense against Debbie, but I'm a little technically challenged. So I still do the old school way of posting on Facebook. And then what I've done too recently is, so I recently did a kind of like a story. I announced it first in my VIP group, and I said, it was my mom's birthday. My mom passed away, and it was my mom's birthday at the end of April. And so what I did is, to kind of honor her, because she's the one that taught me how to cook, I thought it'd be kind of nice to honor her and share some of her recipes and pictures and things like that. And then, so I kind of like explained how my mom taught me how to cook, and I had a picture of my mom and kind of her storyline and how she grew up and her childhood and just stuff like that. And so initially I posted that in my VIP group. And then I said that between now and Mother's Day, I was going to post my mom's recipes and share a little bit about the recipe that she would make. And then I also announced it on my personal wall. And if I wanted, and I invited people in my personal wall to join my cooking community, and I gave them the link. And so a lot of the people that are my friends, family friends and customers and whatnot, they know I'm Italian. They know that I cook, and I cook from, the old way, like the old school way. And a lot of them, their moms have passed or their parents have passed, and they kind of, they wanted to follow along, and they wanted to see what my mom brought to the table. So they joined my my VIP group, and I had a lot of people joining every day. I had at least like 4 or 5 people that wanted to join, like per day. And that's the most action I've ever gotten in my VIP group. And so I literally went through like most of my mom's recipes, and I would post about, her whatever peas and pasta, which we call like a poor man's dish. But peas and pasta is something that you normally can't get in an Italian restaurant. It's something that you would have to find in somebody's home. And so I literally, I would post, I Googled like a recipe. I did a little snippet of the picture. And then I put my mom's recipe, and it wasn't like I had to find a recipe that had measurements, because my mom's recipes didn't have any measurements. So that's kind of what I did. I would post it on my personal wall. And then I invited people to join my community. And then in my VIP group is where I would post the actual recipe with the picture and a little story behind it of what my mom did, made, and whatnot. And then I also tried to incorporate a Pampered Chef tool that makes my life a little bit easier, making, like, for example, one of the recipes that my family loves is something called bolognese sauce. And you make it with chopped onions, carrots, celery, ground beef. And so what I did, and this is what I do when I make this recipe, is I use the food chopper, because it chops up all those vegetables very quickly, very fine. And it really does help me out a lot. So that's kind of what I would do, is I would incorporate a tool that would help me. And people were joining that I know for a fact have consultants, other consultants, and they were joining my VIP group because they were interested in learning about those authentic recipes that their mothers learned and their mothers taught and their mothers cooked that they never got a chance to write down. And so, and that's basically it. I mean, I know Debbie had mentioned, and I've heard this a lot, that people want to see your authentic self. If they want to see, somebody who's got perfect makeup, perfect hair, the beautiful kitchen, everything else, they're going to watch, Food Network. They want to see what Teresa does in her home, doing homework with her kid at the island. I'm yelling, I'm doing whatever. They want to see your authentic self. That's what people are interested in, because they am I going over time? They they want to see how like a normal person lives and cooks. So that's basically it. That's all I have.
Well, I think that's a very, very valid point, because we all have something like that. We all have something unique, some heritage, some culture, something that is you, that you can tie in to cooking. If you're gardening, how are you using your tools in gardening? Just fun things. And I know there's a lot of great tips as well out there in getting your business out in social and linking your link and making it easy. I think consistency is a big key, but I know, Karen, are you still with us tonight? I just see part of people. Karen Hagan. Yep. Great. Karen Hagan, I know you have some fun, good, not necessarily fun, but really good go-to tips. Can you share those tonight with us too?
Sure. Yeah. And it actually kind of ties everything together, which is cool. First of all, I got to witness Teresa's mom story, and yeah, just amazing. I wanted to join the VIP group myself. I think I am part of that group. Anyway, I took a training with Belinda Ellsworth a couple weeks ago. And if you're not familiar with her, she's worked with direct sellers for 30 plus years. She used to be one herself, and she's really good at giving us the nuts and bolts of how to make things work with our business. So she was talking about social media, and kind of like both Sarah and Teresa have said, people need to get to know you. They need to get to like you. They need to get to trust you before they'll continue to be concerned about your business, before they really do a lot of business with you. So she talked about taking people through those steps: know, like, trust, and then actually love. If you want super fans, in your VIP group, you can get there. So just a couple of tips to kind of take you through that journey. First of all, most people start to, like Sarah was mentioning, do a little research about tools and, things they're interested in purchasing by checking out social media. We have our Facebook business page, hopefully in place. That is where most people, like, if they know your name, they'll go Karen Hagan, Pampered Chef. That's what's going to come up in Facebook, is my business page. if I never post in my business page, if the last thing they see is something that I put up, you know, a recipe I put in 2018, they're going to think, I don't even know if she's still doing Pampered Chef. But if you get in the habit of being consistent on your business page, you don't really have to pay a lot of attention to it necessarily, but post regularly. So every day a recipe, or every day a fun quote, or, you know, you decide, but just touch your business page regularly. Get in a rhythm with it, schedule it however you want to schedule it, do it regularly, and it will start to show up to more people. And when people go looking for it, it'll pop up faster for them as well. And they'll think, yes, this woman is actually, or this person is actually in business. So that's kind of like the front door to your business. Most people come in through that business page. Then you can do like what Teresa was talking about, which is encouraging people to get interested in your VIP, your community, cooking community. We all have a different name for it, but for your group, for your Facebook group. And sorry, my sister's talking alongside me. So
Oh, good. It's a family business.
she's echoing me.
Yes.
So when you do like what Teresa did, you tease people with what's going on in your group to get them to think about joining your group. And so you've gone from people just knowing who you are to figuring out, yeah, I kind of like this person. She's talking about her mom. That's pretty cool. To go, you know, getting into that VIP group. And in there, you do a little deeper dive for people. You do a little more for them in terms of giving them value, letting them know that they're important to you for being there, that you appreciate them being there. And that's when they really start to learn to like you. Back to that authentic part. Also posting consistently there is going to, you know, be key, but you can look a little bit more towards engagement. You know, you really, your goal there is to get people to comment back. So you ask stupid questions like today, what was your first job? You get a ton of engagement from a question like that, because everybody's got a story about their dumb first job. So that just gets people, that builds your algorithm, that gets people talking, that gets more people seeing it, that gets more people knowing about you and about each other in the group. And it starts to build that like factor. Okay. Then you get to the trust factor. And that's just, those are the people that do comment, do answer your questions, do share things. And you just really need to let them know that you appreciate what they're doing. And, you know, just the simplest thing is just if somebody comments on something in your VIP group, on your business page too, but especially when they get into your VIP, answer them, say something back. You do not want a conversation to end with someone's comment. You want to, it's just like you're sitting across the table from them, ask them a question that gets them continuing to talk. And that is a way of showing that you appreciate them being there. That's a real simple way of acknowledging that, hey, this person took a moment to type an answer for me. So it's just building that trust. And those people are the ones that are going to bring their friends in because they're having fun, learning recipes from you and chit chatting about their first job and all that kind of stuff. And then she said that you can get the super fans. The beauty of a VIP group, if any of you can relate to this, I want to see your hands raised, is when this friend from this circle in your life and this friend from this circle in your life start to become friends in your VIP group. And they don't care about you anymore. They're talking about Greek food or whatever, you know, they're off having a wonderful time. And you've created a community that's not about you, it's about everybody. And that's when you get to like the super fan phase of it. And that's incredibly gratifying. And those people are in. They are referring their friends. They are all in. Like Teresa said, those, you know, they are going to come back and they're going to, they need Pampered Chef. They're going to come and find you. So I guess the tips, just like the whole night we've been talking about, is just getting in there and engaging, just being yourself, getting in there and engaging. And just one little thing that I took away, that it's so unsocial media, but she said, you know, when you get people in your VIP group and they're really contributing, even if it's just answering every quiz you put out there, every question you put out there, if they're contributing, pick up the phone and tell them, even if it's just their voicemail, tell them how much you appreciate what they're doing. Think about how backwards that is, but how forwards it is, because it's so going to stand out in someone's mind that you took a minute to say, thank you so much for just stepping in and being part of my group. I so appreciate it. So it's kind of like old school meets new school, and it's a beautiful thing.
It
So
is.
that's all what I took away from that. I don't know how many like specific tips I have, but just get in there and stay active and it'll happen.
I love that. I love that so much. I've also got a good tip. If you've not done this ever before, I want to tell you a good plan to start doing it. So if you're thinking this, and you're like, I don't get it. I don't get how this works. I'm confused still. Here's what I want to tell you to do. The way to start is just like Sarah said, just do it. But what I'd like to encourage you to do is don't do anything Pampered Chef when you start. When you don't do anything Pampered Chef for a week, 2 weeks, all right? And when you do the first story, you can go in there and you can see how many people viewed it and who viewed it. And what you want to do, you won't be able to do this for long because it will get too many, is I want you to go in. So if you post, they stay there, I think 24 hours. Is that right, Sarah? Are you guys from? Okay. I can see Sarah's. I can't see everybody's head. And you're going to go in after. So if you post at 10 in the morning, the next day at 9 in the morning, go in and see who wrote it. And I want you to write down everyone's name. Get a little spiral notebook. Now, not me, not consultants, right? Non-consultants. Write down people's names who saw it. Then post again and then do it again. You will see consistency in who is looking and interested in your stories. Then start doing Pampered Chef and you'll see consistency. And the people that are consistently seeing it and interested in you and clicking on it, or even answering a question and getting a little engagement in there, those are the people then you can message and say, hey, I was thinking about you, and we have this great promotion next month and I'm starting to get real active, so whatever, and ask them to book a party. You don't need to say, hey, I noticed you saw my Instagram stories. I mean, you don't need to say that, but it is there for you to notice. But I really want to encourage you to get started. Don't even think Pampered Chef. Do 5 or 10, 1 or 2 weeks of non-Pampered Chef, because you do want that, like both Sarah and Teresa said that, and Karen, you want you in there and what you're doing. And it can be just little, it doesn't have to be wonderful, just little fun things. So that's a great way to get started. And actually, I challenge you, we are in the middle of May. I challenge everybody every morning before you have your first cup of coffee, or when you wash your coffee cup, maybe your first cup of coffee is too early. When you're washing your coffee cup, get in the habit of posting a story for the month of May. Just try it. Just see what happens and how fun it is and how comfortable you get, because you need to create that little habit, because everybody talked about consistency too. So I'm going to, I don't think we have any questions here. I am going to stop the recording, but I will stay on for a minute so anybody can ask questions. But does anybody have any quick comments real quick?
Can I just add one more thing?
Yes.
Just keeping in mind moving forward with people's social media journeys, your audience, this might be like really obvious, but to me it never really was. Your audience for Pampered Chef is 100% different from my audience with Pampered Chef. Like we're just like, every single one of us have completely different personalities, different like preferences in the kitchen, different lifestyles. And knowing, I continue to hear this as the more and more I get into social media, knowing who your audience is, you won't know today and you won't know tomorrow, but you will know in a month or 2 months. You'll start to develop an audience and develop like what you like is important. So just like keeping that in mind as you grow as an individual.
I love that. I love that completely. Thank you. Yes. And I will tell you, I'm going to say really quick, Karen said, respond to people when they message. I will tell you personally, I look at those stories and there was someone non-Pampered Chef. It was like a decorator gal that mentioned something. And I thought, I'll be brave. I'll comment. I'll like, I think she's so cool. And I commented like, cause you start feeling like you know these people, and she never responded. And I almost feel like the junior high girl that got snubbed by the cheerleader, you know, I mean, like, so you do want to respond. I still follow her, I watch it, but I'm not engaging anymore. So I do respond. So I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you guys so much.